right, all right. So this book that's on what I've learned from reading this book series that I created, it's gonna be this one right here. I got a lot of tabs on there. I just felt like I got some time, so I've decided to go through it. It's The Complete Gods and Goddesses of Ancient Egypt by Richard H. Wilkinson. So it's this one right here. A pretty good book. Tells me everything that I need to know. It's my go-to book when I need to talk about gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. Um, but I decided that I'm just going to do these videos randomly until I get enough people who say what's the best time and days they would like to actually watch this live or even participate. So I'm just going to do them randomly until that happens. And I'm just going to go over each book that I personally own and read and stuff like that. I also decided that I won't do too many videos from my website. There was a time when I would do videos on my website, but I feel like I'm taking away some time of some of the stuff that I enjoy. Also, ever since I finished writing my book, when I was writing my book, it took a lot of time and stuff like that for me to do it. So I got to get back to some of the things that I pushed to the side for a little bit. But I gave my website a facelift, basically. And, I got my book right here. So you can purchase my book on Amazon, Journey Through the Origins of History, which made number one in many different categories. I got a YouTube channel also. So now this extra information on here. So a lot of stuff that's on my website is basically stuff that I'm just trying to keep on like as a journal of what I've learned. I have all my articles um, under this tab right here. It's coming up. It's been taking a little bit longer than usual for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with the internet lately, but it has all these different articles that I just write about. Some of them are places that I've actually been to. I update my website a lot. This is my baby right here. Is my website. I put a lot of time and joy into this website. Um, but well, just going back to I was going to do a video on this one right here, biblical Christianity. But if you follow me, you enjoy my information, if you want to just support my work at all, if you just enjoy anything that I do, go ahead and hit that the share buttons right there. Support my work by sharing. That's all I ask for. So that's my website. Of course, like I said, got my book, and today I'm going to go over this book right here. So the first tab that I'm going to go over that I found interesting. I don't know how long this is going to last, but okay, yeah, here is first tab is very literally Introduction, Egyptian Religion and the Gods. And I'll just give you a little snippet of what it basically says. It says the spiritual world created by the ancient Egyptians was richly fascinating one, which remains unique in the history of human religion. Most people already know that. That can be said for a lot of different religions, right? And then the character of the spiritual world was both mysterious and manifest at once, accessible and hidden. For although Egyptian religion was often shrouded in layers of myth and ritual, it nevertheless permeated the ancient civilization of the Nile, ultimately shaped, sustained, and directed Egyptian culture in almost every imaginable way, which can be said about anything. Just reading that part right there lets me know that there's no different than any religion that's on this planet. You can just change a couple of words and then boom, it fits it right there. So, and it goes into more in depth about it and stuff like that. And you know, here something that I just glanced at through the various sources at our disposal. We know that some of Egypt's deities originated before the beginning of recorded time and survived to the very end of the ancient world, which then it, they still survive because some people actually still practice some of this stuff. But just reading that alone to me right there tells me that um, we have multiple religions and myths around the world, and that can be said for a lot. The second tab is basically just a chronology of the rulers. So it just goes from the late pre dynastic, which is 3000 BC. Then it goes to all the way to the Byzantine era, which they have at 337 to 641. And they have everything in between that. But it even says right here, um, you gotta be careful because this is why I always like to point out, not just the numbers that they give, but also the warnings that they give with it. And here it goes. It says the precise dates of the Egyptian dynasties and of individual reigns are still the subject of much scholarly debate, meaning that these dates and timelines are not 100% facts. It's just saying that, this is what a happy median, I guess. And some people are saying different time frames, different ways. The next tab is the origins of religion in ancient Egypt and of the gods in themselves go back to distant prehistoric times, which may lie forever beyond our grasp in terms of any full degree of understanding, which makes sense, right? We only understand what they started recording, and who knows who was recording what. So that right there like I said, that can be said for any religion, myth, or uh, ancient culture, period. The birth of the gods, it says the genesis of the Egyptian gods goes back into prehistoric times. So that right there, when these tabs that I just named are on different pages, and they literally saying the same thing over and over again. That yes, these is we can talk about this, but we can only talk about it from a certain time frame. We don't know what is before that. So and it has more, and it goes into more, and it has more information. Like I said, this is a really good book. It has really good pictures. Here, I give you a quick snap. Like it tells you, it really goes further. I'm just giving you what I found interesting, which I could find the similarities in the thing within just in the first few pages of this book. It was saying pretty much the same thing, which makes it known that what I'm about to read is subject for scholarly debate. Right, here we go. Rule of the gods. This is on page 16. It says, it is one of the ironies of ancient Egyptian religion that although we must cope with a dearth of archaeological evidence regarding the origins of the gods, Egyptian texts of the later periods contain many clear yet often seemingly contradictory accounts of their mythic genesis and rule of the cosmos. So it just tells me that depending on the time frame and what era you follow, one part can contradict something that came before. But my thing is, I like to be at the origin, so I want to know what the oldest one says, basically. And then it says the power of thought and expression, the Memphite view, while the scholars of Heliopolis focus mainly on the emergence and development of the sun god Adam. The priests of nearby Memphis looked at creation from the perspective of their own god Ta. So see, right there lets me know that, listen, it says the emergence development of the sun god, and then it looked at the creation. It says Memphis looked at the creation from the perspective of their own god, meaning that they had their own idea of how I guess the creation story came about, even though one God is looked at as being the creator and another God looked at something else. It's just that right there tells me that I'm not um, hurting myself thinking, why is my understanding that there are different creator gods throughout Egypt? And that's one of them. The god Ta was said to have brought forth the world through thought and creative speech. Now, most people already know that, right? Decline of the gods. The Egyptians' ideas of the origin and nature of the cosmos help us to understand the ultimate decline of their deities, for the inherent vulnerability of the gods is an integral part, of the Egyptian mythology, and one which has important ramifications for our understanding of the ancient Egyptians. See, so it just keeps saying over and over and over again to me that uh, when it comes to the uh, the um the myths, we have to look at it as, okay, then, you know, the understanding is going to be pretty much hard, because everybody's going to have their own opinion. Let's see, where's this tab at? Is it on this one? Oh, that's up. All right, hold on, let's go to the next tab. What's up, little vibe? Yep, knowledge is power, man. I just decided to do this, bro. So, oh, here we go. Look, writing the names of the gods. I was just talking about this a couple of days ago. The four main forms of writing the word God in Egyptian hieroglyphs: a seated deity; two, a falcon, often on a standard; three, a flag topped pole; and fourth, a five-pointed star. So I'm gonna say this again. It says the four main forms of writing the word God in Egyptian hieroglyphs is one, a seated deity. Okay. And then the second one is a falcon, often on a standard. Then the third one is a flag topped pole. And then the fourth one is a five-pointed star. So that's what I always talk about when I bring up the idea of different deities and so on and so forth from the Egyptians and how they are portrayed. Okay, so here's another one. Page 32, it says the manifestations of the gods. And it says, God as many gods. In the Egyptian text, the gods are often said to be rich in names, and the multiplicity of names, and therefore manifestations exhibited by individual deities, provide an important example of their principle, whereby one god may be seen as many. So one god seen as many. I say that a lot. So and that's why I get confused, because trying to remember the names, you can't really remember the names. You have to remember their characteristics. You know what I'm saying? And that's man, it's hard to. I can't remember names in the first place, so that's gonna be hard for me in the first place. So seeing the faces and pictures, that's what I'm good at. But this tab is for a picture. I don't think y'all be able to see it, but it's that picture right there. It's not gonna be clear or nothing like that. But it was just let's see. I want to go to, where was that? Okay, so it just says the agents of Akhenaten removed even the name of the king's father, leaving only his throne name, which was written without the name of Amon, in the widespread program of eradication of the images, names of the Theban god. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure. I would have to go back and read all that stuff. But of course, I can't do all that. Okay, so here we go. Access to the gods. In the earlier periods of Egyptian history, there was often no clear distinction between the priesthood and other members of society, as temple service was conducted by individuals who after their assigned rotation of duties returned to secular work in their communities. However, in New Kingdom in later times, when the priestly offices became professional and largely hereditary ones, the situation changed considerably, and we find a much greater gap between the population at large and those involved in formal service of the gods. So I don't know why I marked that. That didn't seem too interesting there. Maybe I read something prior to that and it clicked, but I don't remember. Why? It says between gods and men. Once Egypt had been united and a central government established, the cult of the living king seems to have been developed in addition to the cult's local and national deities. This fact tends to be taken for granted. Well, we know very little about how this situation came to be, and if to what extent the early king was viewed as divine in his lifetime. See, so it's just who whatever anybody's interpretation really is, you know. So you got to learn the language for yourself and go from there. What I like about this book, though, it says right here, many faces of the divine, but it has the list of deities and their pages that they're on, because it basically gives you a list of all the Egyptian gods. Like it says, one god could be meant to be one or many gods, and so they make sure that they put all that in there. Um, and this is what this book is basically about. Uh, let's see. I'll go to the next tab because I didn't do every god, but anytime somebody says anything about Egyptian gods, like they say, hey, I mean, just type in a god. I don't care. I bring it if it's in this book, I'll bring it up. I have some maybe if you have it by a different name, I might have to look for it or whatnot. But this, I'll go in here and pull up their name. Let's see. Let's go to Ra. So it says Ra, but then it says C Re. So RE. So I would have to go to 205, and then I go to page 205. And then it gives me everything about him. It gives me the mythology. So it says the sun god Ra was arguably Egypt's most important deity, though possibly not as old as the falcon Horus. Ra was an ancient deity who coalesced with many other solar and cosmic gods through time while retaining his own position. That's just part of the mythology. Then it says Ra in heavens, and then it says who Ra is on earth. Then it says who is Ra in the netherworld. Then it says Ra as a creator. Then it says Ra as king and father of the kings. So, and then it gives you the iconography, it gives you the worship, and I mean it tells you everything that you like, a short thing of what you want to know. So whenever I have a discussion with anybody about gods and goddesses from ancient Egypt, I'm immediately gonna go to this book right here. I'm literally gonna go to this book and I'm gonna see if they got it confused. And sometimes they do, because I have the text in front of me and I don't try to mean to call them out. But when you pass out misinformation, then you need to be corrected on it. A lot of people don't like it. Maybe it's my delivery, but I mean, don't go into a room all confident and shrugging your shoulders like you know shit when you really don't, when you're giving bad information. That's why I like to go back and say, hey, let me go back and actually read what it says, because I don't want to mess it up. Because a lot of times these gods have the same kind of characteristics. It's just really boils down to who you want to take for as the person with the correct information. But me, like, what I like to do is, since I can't read this information myself, and Richard H. Wilkinson and his team, uh, him putting this book together and stuff like that, and him having a team of people to get information from, I'm gonna have to trust his word on it. So anything other than that is just basically you just uh, wanting to believe things based on your own information that you receive. But like I said, I like to have the text in front of me. Demons is a very important thing that I like to talk about, because in the Greeks, Socrates and oh, man, what book is it? I talk about it a lot. Cratylus, I think it is, Cratylus, if I'm not mistaken, from Plato. It's where they talk about demons and how demons are known as wise men, or men who died honorably. I post that on my social media accounts a lot. I would have to go verify. Let me bring it up. I could see real quick, because I do have. Let me see. I have my stuff right here. I can do this real quick, because I know I like to send out my information correctly. So let's see. Okay, advanced search. I'm pretty sure it was Cratylus by Plato, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Let's see. Yep. Here you go. Here, I'll show right here because I like to present my facts on where I get things from, so there's no misunderstanding. But yeah, like right here, I got it from my Kindle. Yeah. See, I posted it a while ago, May 20th of 2024. But it talks about demons in here. And I found this interesting because, like I said, it says, and therefore I have the most entire conviction that he called them demons because they were Damien. And some people say it differently, saying knowing or wise. And in our older Attic dialect, the word itself occurs. Now he and other poets say truly that when a good man dies, he has honor and a mighty portion among the dead, and becomes a demon, which is a name given to him signifying wisdom. And I say too that every wise man who happens to be a good man is more than human. Right. And then it gives you the daimonion. And then it says both in life and death, and is rightly called a demon. So that's what they call demons. Yeah, that's why I said too, man. I find um this interesting too, because it says the notion that demons or lesser divinities are the sons of God is not to be regarded as ironical or skeptical. Then it goes into different things. Must not demons and heroes and men come next? Demons and heroes are next to each other. Come on, demons, and what do you consider to be the meaning of this word? Tell me in my view, white. And it's just interesting to know that they have it differently. But here in the Egyptian time frame, because you got to remember, Greeks took a lot of information from the Egyptians and other individuals. It says there is no Egyptian word which corresponds to the word English word demon, but Egyptological literature often uses this term to describe what are also called minor divinities. Okay, minor divinities. Did I read that earlier? Where did I read that at? Lesser, minor, right? And it's right here. And this is from Plato. Okay. Now, I'm not, if I go back here and I could probably see if he had Plato's books. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe bibliography or something. Sources of quotations. Let's see. I don't see nothing from Plato yet. No. Sure don't. Nope. Still nothing from Plato. I mean, I could have went past it, or skimmed through it too quick. But it's just the point, just that right there. So I found that interesting. Demons could also be associated with the world of the living. However, and once again, we find benevolent and malevolent types. The latter type included demons associated with Sekhmet and other great deities in their aggressive aspects, while more benevolent demons were often called upon to give protection from these. So, it's just interesting. Okay, here we go. The 12 hours of the night were personified as a goddess in the Book of Gates, where they were depicted in vignettes showing the 12 deities grouped around a twisting serpent, which represented the endlessness of time. That's pretty interesting. This is almost this book is almost over with. So, let's see. Okay. All right. There's a whole list of stuff on here. It says name of God, identification, and crime judged. So, okay, so the first thing that I'm just going to pick one of these. It says white of teeth, and then it's Fayum, and it's transgression. So that would be name of God would be white of teeth, The identification would be Fayum, and the crime judge would be transgression, which I probably have to go back and read all that other stuff. But let's see. Mythology. Let's see, mythology. Oh no. Okay, yeah, here we go. The female anthropomorphic deity. So it just gives you all the lists on here. That's why I have that tab right there. It gives a whole bunch of lists of all these. It's a lot of pages actually. Actually, I think it goes all the way to the next tab that I have because all this was in, yeah. Because when I mark it that way, that means I want the whole chapter instead of, I have places for these tabs that remind me. So if they're on the top, it's all the chapter, that whole chapter. If it's more on the side, it's more just that page. So, oh yeah, okay. So this is one of the ones that I found interesting. Another tab is the Apis was the most important of the bull deities of Egypt and can be traced back to the beginning of the dynastic period. So let's go back and see what they have for the dynastic period in here. Remember, I had that time frame or that time. Yeah, here we go. Dynastic period. So let me see which one is it saying. Beginning of the dynastic period. So I'm gonna just assume. I don't understand that because I know there's different dynasties. So and it doesn't give you which one that it picks. That's pretty interesting. The beginning of the dynasty. I'm gonna look more into that now and see which one they were talking about. Well, let's just assume pre-dynastic time frame was 3000 BC. So somewhere around there then. So that's beginning of farming. But anyway, I found that interesting with the bull because every deity out there, for the most part that I know of, has to do with a god because of the simple fact that it was the beginning of agriculture, right? It was the symbol of strength and power. The bull will pull and help plow the earth and the land and stuff like that. So this is the last tab, and then I'm gonna close out with Lil Vibes music. Yo, Lil Vibe, pick a music, man, real quick while I do this last tab that we're gonna jump on yours. Man, damn, that was crazy. The last tab is just basically a picture, and it says the great cat of Ra, who dwells in Heliopolis, kills the serpent deity Apophis, shown coiled around the sacred sycamore or persea tree, which was a symbol of the sun. And I'll just give a quick show of that because it's talking about that. So if you ever seen that before, then that's what they're talking about. But this book is full of information. The reason why there's not that many tabs like I usually have, because most of them, as you can see, are on the top, which means that I have to read a chapter. So there's a lot of stuff that I found interesting, and of course, I'm trying to stay within the fair usage rights and not get in trouble. I'm only reading snippets of things that I found interesting and that I've come to already have done research. But I do go back and read these books. I actually, like I said, I don't think Lil Vibes there. Someone pull up his music, a song real quick. But whenever I talk about the Egyptian gods or goddesses, and I want to have see if somebody's saying something correctly or if I'm mistaken something, because like I said, a lot of these gods and goddesses, they have the same characteristics, and it's just kind of hard to figure out what is what. But this is a good book. I'm telling you, this is a great book. I mean, this is a great book. Like I go to it every single time. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think one book is all the right answers or anything like that. I have a lot of different books on the different categories and different things like that. I just have my go-to ones because I know what the basics are. So if they're following just the basics, then I can go with that. I know the basics, and that's what matters to me. But this isn't just, I've taken stuff from this book and found things online from like Britannica that didn't match up, so kind of just makes me wonder. But I'm gonna pull up Lil Vibe song. Let's see. I already played Ambitions. Let me see. Hold on. We're gonna play let's see this discography. Hold on, let me make sure this ain't too. We're gonna go ahead. Nah, I don't want that one. I listened to that one. I just listened to that. I think I did that one last time. Yeah, I think I did that one last time. Yeah, let's go. There we go. Okay, yeah, there we go. We'll do that one. So I'm gonna close out with Lil Vibe's music. And but I really recommend getting this book if you uh just coming in. I highly recommend going back. I went through all these tabs, things that I found interesting. Oh, let me you know what, before, so I can show. Hold on. Oh shoot. Let's see. Dang. Where is it? I'm having trouble with my phone for some reason now. It's glitching. It's either something going on with the internet or it is bad weather out there today, though. So that might be a problem. Let's see. Okay, so I'll just do it on let's see if I can do it on my computer real quick. This might be better. Let's see what next book that's on the list that I'm gonna do. Let's see. Next book that I'm gonna do. Let's see. I have to update a lot. I have to update my books on here. I'm constantly updating my books. What was it? Complete Gods and Goddesses. Let's see. And this is gonna happen for years, like crazy years. Crazy years. I got so many books that I gotta go over. Where is it? All right, there we go. So, okay, here you go. This one's good for anybody who knows anything about the Taínos. So, The Mythology and Religion of the Taínos by Sebastian Robio Lamarche. I believe that's how you say his name. But it's about the Taínos. So, you got the Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Haitians over there. You're going to learn something about the Taínos, which is very interesting. But this one is I can't get my so I'm gonna play bring up the song that I'm gonna play. We gonna close out with Lil Vibe's music. Support him, go to Spotify, add him on there. Great artist. I like his music. I gotta play his music and do a video of me playing his music in my truck because I do have a lot of bass in there. I was telling Dave and Mike about that, so I'll talk about that some other time. But yeah, here we go. We just gonna play it.
Yeah, hey, come on, hitting new levels. Of come on the desert and not on the iron, the rock heavy metal. What? Yeah. Hitting new levels of come on the desert and not on the iron, the rock heavy metal. Whoa, hey, yeah. Hitting new levels of come on the desert and not on the iron, the rock heavy metal. Whoa, hey, yeah. Hitting new levels, the chrome on the bezel, the 9 on the iron, the rock heavy metal, the fire and the power. I grind by the hour, we working on building the whole damn empire. The sounds in the stars, mine is on Mars. Nikola Tesla, lightning bars. Ain't down broke, man, I'ma go hard. Need a big house, big watch, big car. Need a big house, big watch, big car. Need a big bang, man, need to go dark. High fashion in the last days. I don't give a damn, man, let him eat cake. I don't give a damn what a hater gon' say. Hard to see an ass who got a fool getting paid. Getting revenue every time, make a wave. Red up like the water, cause we making neat waves. Red up like the water with a gang like slaughter. Really on my mind live, I'm around high. Laughing to the bank while I'm taking all these dollars. Getting real high while I'm pulling, that's la la. Putting numbers on the board like it was a aha. Praying to the pancake like it was a aha. Got the studio doing numbers like a trap house. In the backwoods, been a corner with a strap house. Hitting new levels, will come on the bezel, the 9 on the iron, the rock heavy metal, the fire and the power. I grind by the hour. Working on building a whole damn empire. The size of the stars, mine is on Mars. Nikola Tesla, lightning bars. Ain't down broke, man, I'ma go hard. Need a big house, big watch, big car. Need a big house, big watch, big car. Need a big pay, man, need a big fall. Need a big broom shake, make it go boom. Abracadabra, I light up the room. Bury the written, I leave it in tune. Wetting my whistle while humming this tune. Hitting the high notes just like it's a fluke. Take the mask off, I'ma do what it do. Stacking the stacks like it's Scooby the do. Blowing the day like it's Pepe Le Pew. Up in my whip, got that pew pew pew. Said to me quick, get that COD2. This time around, disobeying the rules. Writing some new ones and breaking cocoons. Smoking papaya and look like cartoons. Off of the Zoom while I'm talking on Zoom. Hitting new levels, the chrome on the bezel, the 9 on the iron, the rock heavy metal, the fire and the power. I grind by the hour, we working on building a whole damn empire. The sounds in the stars, mine is on Mars. Nikola Tesla, lightning bars. Ain't down broke, man, I'ma go hard. Need a big house, big watch, big car. Hitting new levels, the chrome on the bezel, the 9 on the iron, the rock heavy metal, the fire and the power. I grind by the hour, we working on building a whole damn empire. The sounds in the stars, mine is on Mars. Nikola Tesla, lightning bars. Ain't down broke, man, I'ma go hard. Need a big house, big watch, big car. Need a big house, big watch, big car. This the last verse, no, I'ma go hard. Gripping this mic while dropping these bars. Got the double R, ain't talking Rick Ross. Talking Rolls Royce while I'm drinking my boss. Got massage seats, they massaging my balls. I got no limits, cause love is the law. Everything else is just more of a facade. Black out the sun like it's versions and Sparta. With the line king, I Hakuna Matata. Making a way for my wife and my daughter. Heart that got colder from all of the trauma. I'm feeling just like a monster. Auto suggestion, I'm on autopilot. Going to green just like it was vomit. With all my dogs like balls with vomit. Hitting new levels of come on the bezel, the 9 on the iron, the rock heavy metal, the fire and the power. I grind by the hour, we working on building a whole damn empire. The signs in the stars, mine is on Mars. Nikola Tesla, lightning bars. Ain't down broke, man, I'ma go hard. Need a big house, big watch, big car.
I gotta do one more. I gotta do one more. I gotta do one more. I gotta do one more.
Yes, sir. This is a work of will. Be knocking like a rock up in the pie, yeah. Be knocking like a rock up in the pie. Come on. Be knocking like something else. Woo. Yeah. Be knocking like the, yeah. Come on. Yeah. Okay, see. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Be knocking like the rock up in the pie. Baby mama gonna pop it while you lie. Look back at it while I'm looking through these sides. Lot of options and we buying out the lies. I remember shopping at the big lies. Now it's every day we need a bigger lie. Turn the loop, we'll get the fucking up the hives. Whistle mode in the 3 kingdoms high. With the whistle mode in the 3 kingdoms high. Like that 3-headed dog, boy, I'm high. Got it parked outside the case, I'm in the spot. Hercules with the thigh. Put them birds up in the Mecca with my eye. I remember city bus, our shit was high. Better days is what I prayed and what I got. Took a lot of losses, but it was for nah. Learned a lesson and a blessing on my trial. Making waves and causing ripples through the town. Orochimaru way, I'm moving through the sound. In the village with them leaves up on the ground. Break it down, we went and got another pound. In the dealership, I did another round. I got a stump for every day that I was downtown. With my dogs, that we came up from the pound. Give me pound, give me dab, stream these raps. Need them royalties on chest like back to back. Big old difference when you do it from the set. Like Osiris thinking life of after death. Resurrected through the myth up on the text. Jesus Christ, a little vibe, you could be nest. Thinking grow rich, best start thinking about success. Only difference up between us is I'm blessed. Glory of the kingdom resting on my chest. Heart been heavy, I'm courageous, so I press. Got the strength to move the mountain to the left. Queen bee, I'll be buzzing till I'm dead, dead. Even then, I'm thinking life up after that, that. Biggie Smalls a little vibe, you could be nest. On the axle beat, I'm destined for success. Fucking with the artist, it got me test. Beast my Ray, yeah, that's my brother, we some bad boys. Young Barry, that's my hero, we them rap boys. It's a rapping OKC and that's a fat boy. We got Godzilla hands around, they coming next, boy. And we ain't even fucking done, protect your neck, boy. We did it with no fucking help like it was one and only. We moved them digits up and down like it was really stony. In the age of advocates, the age of playing Sony. GTA 3 had me thinking I was really Tony. I was really just a youngin' who was really lonely. If that don't hit you, I just let the hook just do it for me. If that don't hit you, yeah. Be knocking like the rock up in the pot. Baby mama gonna pop it while you lie. Look back at it while I'm looking through these stars. Lot of options and we buying out the lies. I remember shopping at the big lies. Now it's every day we need a bigger lie. Turn the loop, get the fucking out the hives. Move to mode in the three kingdoms.
All right, yeah, that's it. So yeah, shout out to Lil Vibe. Check out his music. Like I said, get this book. The next one is going to be on the Tainos. So, you know anything about that, or if you want to do some quick research on there and see what I found, I believe their main god was Yaya, Yaya, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll be able to clarify that next time. Like I said, I don't know how often I'm going to do these things. Just when enough people say, hey, I can, if you do it once every Monday at this time, it'll be great. And I get enough people that say that. Until then, you can go, I'm going to load these up on my YouTube and you can watch them there, or you can watch them here on X. This is something that I'm doing mainly just for myself and anybody that's interested in this stuff. I do have a list. I should have brought it up. I had it up while I was on here earlier. Oh yeah, here we go. It's still up. I have a list of books before I close out on my website that I'm constantly updating because I have a lot of books, but I'm constantly updating this list. It's basically where I get my information from. And it's just basically a list of all the books that I personally own or have read myself. And I have a whole bunch. I'm actually have an old composition book right here with all the books that I have that I'm using to update this. But these are all the books that I personally have. Of course, you can see my book right there, made #1 in many different categories. But I have a list of books on my website that I've read, and every book that I personally have read and read from. Not all of them is going to make it to this list, of course, because I just started collecting books at a different time frame of me reading. But like I have all these tabs on these books, and then I have my Kindle Scribe right here, which I also have books on. So I go through all of these, and you know, I have a pyramid full of encyclopedias right over there right now. So yeah, I just have a whole list of books. Goes on all the information of all the stuff of all the information that I have. If you want to know about a specific book that I have on this list that I've already put on here, let me know. I'm constantly updating this list. Like this list is, I know I don't even know how many books I have on hand. I have a lot. And that's why I'm putting them all on here in the list now, because what I want to do is be able to save it. I have it on this composition notebook, but I want to have it on digital too. But if you want, another thing is I don't usually put books on here until I've read the book at least 3 times. So even though I've read probably like 3 or 4 times the amount of books that I will have on this list, I don't update it unless I've read it at least 3 times. And reading it 3 times doesn't mean that I've read it like how I read it carefully the first time. Like I'll go back and I'll be able to read it much faster and stuff like that, because I've already have tabs on there, and those tabs will make me pay attention to those parts more often and stuff. But like I said, I just go back and read. So if there's any book that you want me to go through, Let me know. Like right now, we're right. Where are we? Right here. So I've been doing this with this many books on my YouTube channel, and should be on my YouTube channel. Some of them are doubles, because I just started figuring out how I really wanted to do this and stuff like that. Some of these books are multiple ones, like volume 1 and 4. So, like Plato's books, there's like 40 books. So I just have Plato's books, and I have like 40 books, and then I have Herodotus books, and then it says like 10 or 11. Or so I can't remember how many, but there's a lot of books in here. A lot of these books are volumes, so they're under one book, under one number and stuff. But if you want me to go over a book, just let me know. Like I said, this is the one we're doing next right here, with the Tainos. Let me see if I can show you what the book looks like. Yep, there we go. So it look like that. That's the one that I'm going over right there. Oh, it's not good. Screenshot. It changes. So I'll bring it up and then I'll close it out. Let me see. Yep, this is it. So this is the one that I'm going to go over next, right here. This one right here. So, all right. Until next time, y'all know knowledge is power.